Dr. Sreetama Misra from SS2024 to present the next topic. It is a very interesting topic, learning beyond individual and informal. Krishnamurti's works for true cognition in Advaita Vedanta. I'll give a very brief introduction about our speaker here. Dr. Sreetama Misra is a distinguished faculty member of philosophy in the School of Humanities, Social Sciences and Management and IIT Education, with a wealth of experience in teaching and research. The areas of expertise include moral philosophy, environmental ethics, and phenomenology. Dr. Misra holds a doctoral degree from Assam University and has been awarded a junior research fellow by ICTR Limited. Before joining IIT Bhubaneswar, he was an assistant professor in the Department of Philosophy at Delta College Vidyasagar University from July 2014 to November 2020. He also served as a trained program officer of National Service Team from Narendra Ramakrishna Mission. Throughout her career, she has received numerous accolades, including gold medals and the Upendra Shankar Memorial Prize for Academic Excellence. Dr. Misra is also a prolific author, having written articles and a book on philosophical topics in world-renowned journals. He is actively involved in academia and serves as a valuable member of the editorial board of the International Journal of Philosophy. Dr. Misra, please come on to that.
So, thank you so much, and congratulations to all the organizing team as well as to all the participants for beautifully making this summer school happen yesterday, but again, and also thanks to my previous speakers, Professor Mukherjee and also to Professor Sanjay Kumar, who actually laid the ground for what I'm going to talk now. I know that it is a pre-lunch session, so of course I have to hurry up. I do not have how much time do I have? 45, okay. So I wanted it to be more of an interactive session so that things get very easy. And I will be talking on the major concept that I'll be talking on is more about the Krishnamurti's concept of learning. Now, my area of specialization is ethics and phenomenology, and I also work on intersections of these areas. And while working on those areas, I felt that Krishnamurti's concept of learning, when it is going to be higher and higher and abstract level, we get a very deep connection of this philosophy, and we can connect it to the core of Advaita Vedanta. Also, to the problems of phenomenology. So, I was trying to relate all these notions, and I was speaking on those and really practically. So, these are the major issues which I will discuss first. So, one thing that I'll start with is that Krishnamurti makes a distinction between information, knowledge, and learning. So, this word, information and knowledge, most of us know. Most of us are aware of it because when we talk about information, in philosophy, mostly it is understood as a database or as factual, mostly. And knowledge is the deep understanding and the awareness gained from experience. That is knowledge. Now the question comes, what is learning? And this is what I will try to focus on. What is learning? I know there are so many participants present here. So, if we have to say what is learning, learning is the process through which we acquire the information, we assemble the information, we apply, and of course, we integrate into our knowledge base. As simple as that, we can define it in that way, right? And we know that learning can be in different ways, right? There are active, learning, passive learning now. Of course, the participants are seated there and they are passively just hearing me. Right? Experiential learning, different forms of learning is there. So, we have to understand what learning is in understanding of Krishnamurti, and then I will try to relate it with the core concept. So, to understand what learning is, the first question that comes is what learning is not. And as you all know that this is the Indian way of doing it. Thinking if what does not, what does not. It's two things and then we come to, we boil down to a point to understand what it means. So, can I get 2, 3 answers what learning is not from the participants, if possible? Yeah. Anything you can just.
It's not memorization.
Correct. It's not memorization. But usually we associate learning with memorization, right? So, any other? Any? Okay, so step by step I will go. What does it stop at? So yeah, here one more thing I just let me show you talking about this learning. It's not denying the technological knowledge, of course not. That is everything. That is everything. Because for all technological knowledge, we need an authority. We need an authority. We need an authority. We need an expert. But when it comes to the matters of psyche, then learning is different. That's what he's saying. So when he's trying to give us an understanding of learning, remember that is learning of his end. It's not about technological learning, which we usually confuse. So learning, basically the first point is that it's not accumulation of knowledge. Why? Because most of the time we have this thing in mind that learning is accumulation of knowledge, and how do we measure it? If we get marks in examination, if we score very high, we think that we have learned a lot. So this is our real conception. So he is different from this conception of learning, right? This is one. Next is that conforming to authority. This is very interesting because most of the time, our authority means it can be textbook also, it can be our gurus also, it can be our teachers also, parents also, it can be whatever is given to us, we dump it in our head and simply we conform to those. That is actually not learning. This is the second thing that Krishnamurti is speaking. The third is that, as our participant said, that it's not memorization, it's not repetition. I still remember during when we were child, we were told that at home, please read louder so that you can hear it. So the more loudly you read, the more you will, things will be there in your memory. So this is for what? This is because the more you repeat, things will be there in your memory. Things will get stored in your brain. Things will get in your memory. Learning, because we are not involving ourselves actively. This is what Krishnamurti is not calling it in learning. Because here, whatever is happening, it's not passive things. So passively things are happening. It is not happening. We are not involving ourselves actively. Next is structured curriculum. Yeah. Yes.
Training.
Independence? Something? Of course, it's the training. Correct. Correct, absolutely. Exactly.
Training and
No, so this is what he is telling, that whatever we are doing here, this conformity to authority, this is also a training. We are trained to do this, to behave this, to think that yes, this is our God. You have to believe that this is our God. You have to believe that this is very good. These are all training. We are actually trained. So when things are getting stored in our brain, when we are accumulating knowledge from outside, all things are happening passively. We are actually not actively involved in that process. That is what he is dealing with. Right? So I come to the result after this. Then we have the structured curriculum, the conception of structured curriculum. That we have a curriculum, read all these things, write in examinations. Once you are done with all this, it means that you have learned a lot. This is again misconception. Then most of us think that learning is related with result orientedness. If our results are very good, yes, you have done well. I scored 80, in examinations. So I scored very well. I have done well. Somebody scored 60. Somebody did well. That's how we usually measure learning as. So these are the usual conceptions of learning. And this is what Krishnamurti is giving, and he is saying that there's a huge difference between. So we are accumulating knowledge. We are just storing this all this in our mind. But why we are storing that? We need a good career, we need a good job, we need a good lifestyle. We are acquiring knowledge from outside. Physical knowledge we have, biological knowledge we have, all sorts of knowledge of the space and everything. We have knowledge of everything, but we don't have knowledge of this set. Because we love to gain knowledge passively. The moment it comes to active knowledge is when we have to evolve ourselves in the process of self-inquiry and self-discovery. They are actually built. So this is where Krishnamurti is trying to bring a major difference between knowledge, accumulating knowledge and learning. And why it is happening? Why most of the time we are only happy with accumulating knowledge? Because we are happy with living in the past. And when we are accumulating knowledge, we are not actually living in the present. Which means that things are already stored in our mind. And we are acting in present because of our past memories. Or past things which are stored in our mind by our teachers, by our instructors, by our gurus, by our margashas, right? We are not actually getting those. And this is where this becomes very important because mind has to come out of the bondage of past. Because unless mind is coming out of that bondage, past bondage, and mind will never be free. So this concept of learning is intricately related to the concept of freedom in Krishnamurti. And his main question is that is there a way of knowledge which is not constantly acquiring knowledge formed by past? Knowledge ever happened? There is a very serious inquiry in philosophy that can we ever acquire knowledge which is not bound by past? A fresh knowledge. A very fresh knowledge. So this is how we are trying to enter into the discussions. So one thing that is mentioned in this discussion is that actions born out of limitations must be limited, because when we are trying to understand things, when we are trying to accumulate knowledge, this is not past knowledge, so our knowledge is always limited. Our knowledge is always limited. So just very, is very important. Where we must, limitations are not limiting us. So taking the psyche to that level where the past limitations are actually not limiting us from living in the present. Without past movement, there can be no action. That's what we need to end. But that is the question actually. And in limitedness, there can be no freedom. So very interestingly, not only Krishnamurti, there are so many philosophers, so many thinkers who have actually worked on this concept, and they are saying that you have to, one has to step away all egos, all limitedness to get the essence of it. Very interesting. So this is an important concept that comes. I take this from Krishnamurti's philosophy, and he's bringing in this concept of the unconditional mind, and he's saying that we are always tied to the past, and so our mind is always conditioned. We are never getting an unconditioned. We are never having an unconditioned mind. Our responses to the environment, our physical environment, social environment, political environment, they're conditioned by all those environments. Our choices, our decisions, our responses to the environment, how we should behave, how we should speak, how we should act, what food should we eat. Each and everything in life, everything is conditioned. We are so much conditioned. And that is why we cannot start fresh. We cannot start fresh. And this is because we cannot start fresh, we cannot actually start this process of self-inquiry. Self-inquiry can only happen only when we are shedding away all our bias, prejudices, and presuppositions. It should be a fresh start. So that is why he is referring to this notion of unconditioned mind, the mind which is not conditioned. Now, what actually causes this condition? And Krishnamurti is beautifully saying that this unconditioning is, this conditioning is actually caused by information. So information is actually knowledge is actually or technological knowledge, but when it comes to knowing the psyche, there one has to start afresh. Knowing the psyche is something which should one involve in activity. So what Krishnamurti was radically he is challenging all the social codes and social moves and he's negating the proper social morality. Social morality is negating what people has already told us about how it is, what should be, how it's our mind, all the commitments, all the commitments, everything, one idea of the physical, anything Krishnamurti is negating. The proper social moves is negating and he's trying to enter into the realm and domain of self-discovery and self-empowerment. So this is actually is referring to three more aspects. One is the concept of pure awareness. I mean, the state of unconditioned mind, which is beyond all sorts of conditioning, where there is only pure awareness, and of course, attention. Attention is adding it. Because when he's referring to awareness, let me tell you, awareness means a state which is choiceless awareness. I use the word quote unquote, choiceless awareness, where there is no choice. It is the moment I'm making choices. My choices are actually dependent on how my mind is conditioned from childhood, from past. So going beyond that, and living in a state of choiceless awareness, then only we can have an unconditioned mind. If we have to know our psyche, that is an essential requirement. Pure awareness. And along with pure awareness comes pure attention. So one of his disciples once asked him the difference between awareness and attention. So he answered that attention is referring many of the series of books. It is choiceless. And when there is no choice, a state of pure awareness, but there is no difference between my previous speaker has already spoken about the state of Asamprajna Samadhi in yoga, which is where the difference between the meditator and the act of meditation doesn't exist. So going to that state where the difference between that inward and inward doesn't exist. The experiencer and the experience doesn't exist. Right? So choiceless awareness is one state, and along with it, the state of pure attention. Now, what is attention? Again, the disciple asked that please explain how it is. Can I fully attend to something? Of course, and then we cannot give our full attention beyond 8 seconds, 7 seconds, right? 7.7 seconds. It is impossible to give complete attention to something. So then he answered that yes, pure complete attention means where there is no duality. Where there is no duality. When you are imagine in very layman words, like to explain, you just imagine that you are going and watching the the beautiful hills. Today, of course, we're going to Rishikesh, many of the participants, and then watch the hills. How many of you will actually purely attentively watch those, the views, the scenic beauty? Very few. Most of us will all the time will be busy in capturing those beauty. But actually, beauty cannot be captured. It can only be lived at the present, isn't it? So, pure awareness are actually required for an unconditioned mind, a mind where there is no condition. This is one. Second is this more conscious of consciousness. Now this actually those who are into phenomenology or into consciousness studies, they will understand it better because one of the founding thinkers is Edmund Husserl, who understands actually consciousness in terms of intentionality. And consciousness is always consciousness of something. Right? It is always directed to something. Right? So there always has to be an object of consciousness. This is how Husserl is trying to define. Right? At the core, the question is coming. Can one be conscious of consciousness? Not anything else. When Husserl is making the claim that consciousness is consciousness of something, so that of something can it be consciousness? So that's again a deeper level, going deeper down in deep understanding of consciousness. Okay, so this is one. I will come to that again when I will be talking about the individual consciousness and universal consciousness. I will come to this point. And then, yeah, pure attention I have already discussed. And then the concept of holistic mind. When we will have an unconditioned mind, an unconditioned mind will only be able to give us a holistic aspect of anything. Otherwise, it is not possible because when we see a thing, when we encounter a thing, when we experience something, most of the time we cannot do it holistically. Even though we can also, we don't do it holistically because our minds are fragmented. It's very partial. We look at things from a very partial perspective. That person is suffering. I'm not suffering. That person is suffering. That person is dying. I'm not dying. But it is because not understood suffering in a holistic way. So we could transform himself from Siddhartha to Buddha. So understanding the thing, not fragmented reality, that he is suffering is not something that that person is suffering or this person is suffering. He is like that. He is suffering, he is suffering, he is suffering. Okay, fine. What to do? What else can we do? Let us help them and then simply let us go to our own heads and enjoy our life. That's what we do. It is not, it doesn't change us. Suffering is not changing us. Why is not changing us? Because we are thinking fragmented. We are thinking partially. We are not anticipating it from a holistic sense. And this is the reason why an unconditioned mind is extremely important. Because from a conditioned mind, if we understand those concepts, if we understand suffering, then it will never be possible for us to get the totality of a phenomenon. It will never be possible for us to grasp the totality of a phenomenon. Because our minds are bent and we are not getting deep into that. So here, this becomes very important. Causes condition and how we can come out of that condition. This is a constant practice, constant practice. So when Krishnamurti is talking about this unconditioned mind, this actually is taking us to the core problems and the questions of Advaita Vedanta, where time and again we are told to understand and to realize what existence is. What existence is. When we talk about, yeah, so this slide is also it is actually making a difference between accumulating knowledge and learning. I just give this, yeah. So this slide is also mentioning step by step about the two learning because from conditioning of the mind, two learning of the self, as I told you. So conditioning of the mind, not conditioning of the mind, and the mind is responsible for conditioning and physical, nervous, mental, all those conditions. Even divine liberation, we are told liberation is important. We have realized it. Through our self-inquiry or through our process of discovery. No, we haven't. We are told that this is important. So this is what Krishnamurti is actually different. So even our experiences are also in the quote from Krishnamurti himself, and some of the quotes also are mentioned. So the question is that does Krishnamurti's concept of unconditional equate to the realization of pure consciousness or Jnana Swarupa? Now, here let me just tell that the question of existence has been very active in the Advaita Vedanta. And what is existence? Brahman is equated with existence. It's very scientific, very logical, nothing prejudice. There is no prejudice in the theory of Advaita Vedanta. And they're straight away saying that Brahman is not the individual God. It is existence. So there are certain laws of Advaita Vedanta saying that we have certain laws of heart. Not means we are tied to certain things. What we are tied to? We are tied to avidya, we are tied to karma, desire, and we are also tied to karma. This three things. One is karma, one is karma, one is avidya. At the same time, there are certain defects in Jiva, in individual soul also, because of which maybe we are not able to realize that state. Because what are those defects in Jiva? One is the impure mind. And we are all aware of the problem solution method that Advaita Vedanta is giving us, right? The problem of Jiva is impure mind. How to restrict the mala, how to get rid of that impurity. We need a pure mind, chitta vritti, and how it is possible? Through karma yoga, through good actions. Not only good actions, in karma yoga also, there are, when we talk about karma, of course, we have sakam karma, nishkama karma, right? So we are mostly concentrated with the sakam karma. Good actions, good results. Bad actions, we should not do bad actions, because if we do bad actions, we will get bad results. So we are mostly concentrated on this sakam concept. When we thinking about the nishkama, we think that if we do good, we will get liberation. No, if we do good actions, then we will not get liberation. Yeah. So attainment of, reaching to the state of Nishkama Karma is important. So whatever we are doing good actions, that will only give us good results, but it will not free us from the cycle. It will not free us from that cycle. So we are still in that process. So purity of mind is very important. Because when Advaita Vedanta is talking about jnana, knowledge is ultimate thing, right? To reach to that level, first of all, we have to have a pure mind. That is important. Unless we have a pure mind, simply somebody, because Brahma Jnana cannot be given to everybody, somebody is not up to that level. So pure mind is very important. And how pure mind can be attained? Through karma. So they are not discarding karma. Absolutely. This is the first level, initial level. Yes, karma is important for a pure mind. Now you have a pure mind. We all have a pure mind. Now what to do? Our minds are very scattered. It's roaming here and there. Right? Vikshepa. So we need focused mind. Right? So for focused mind, the ekagrata, there has to have some method. Right? So here comes this Raja Yoga, or Advaita Vedanta is using Shankaracharya is not using this words. So there Upasana is mentioned. Right? Through meditation, this focused mind is to be attained. And then comes, now you have your mind, now you have focused mind. Then comes the question of movements. Then it is the last stage. Then the process of knowledge starts. It's the level of purity of mind. That is also even difficult. Pure mind, then comes focused mind, and then comes. We have pure mind, we have focused mind, but we are knowledge. What to do? So we need knowledge. Yeah, that is the only route by which you can reach to the level of absolute bliss. It's possible. Liberation is possible. So Advaita Vedanta is talking about knowledge. So there are a very important concept of non-difference. I mean, there is no difference between this individual consciousness and universal consciousness. That is being highlighted out and out. That the difference between individual consciousness. So they are equating Atman with Brahman. Atman equal to Brahman. So the question of existence, if Brahman is all about existence, then the question comes that why do we see multiplicity of Brahmanitis? Why, if I am Brahman, if I am not suffering, then why do I see suffering throughout? If I am infinite, then why do I see why I am amidst the finite realities of the world? Right? So in the Advaita Vedanta, this mind is very strong, Mind is, we should not ignore it. It's very important. It's an important force. And that force is ruling the entire samsara. So ignorance is understood not in a negative aspect in Advaita Vedanta. In a very positive aspect also, ignorance is understood. Of course, when you go to Vishal Vedanta, he is mentioning about the different forms of ignorance. We'll not get into that, all he says. But in Advaita Vedanta, so what I'm saying is that, so this concept of merging of individual consciousness and universal consciousness is being highlighted and it's explicitly mentioned in phenomenology. You see, as I told you, the phenomenological thinkers really discuss Husserl and Heidegger, right? So here Heidegger is also referring to Husserl actually dealt with the primordial question. What is the primordial data of our experience? So he was curious to finding the answer of what is the primordial data of our experience, whatever we are experiencing, whatever we are doing, what is the primordial data? And he's coming to the answer: consciousness. Consciousness. Where to find them and how to find them? Find them in consciousness. How to find them? Because consciousness is, consciousness is not filtered. It's an unfiltered one with so many inessential aspects. So, in order to know the true essence of consciousness, we have to filter it and remove all the inessential aspects. The more we will remove the inessential aspects, we will come to the essence of consciousness. The essence of consciousness. Right? So, he was more interested in trying to find out the essence of consciousness. Right? And of course, so at the extreme level also we see that when he's mentioning about this transcendental ego and then he's bracketing all the minds, other minds, and the body, everything he's bracketing. He's saying that in order to find out the transcendental ego is not a selfish ego. It's not a selfish ego, but it is consciousness too. So to understand the essence of consciousness, you have to bracket all the inessential aspects. So that is, he's trying to explain at an individual level. And after Husserl came Heidegger, he was actually questioning the entire project of Husserl, and he's saying that no, this is not what philosophy should do. Philosophies have actually forgotten things. But 2000 years, philosophers have bothered themselves with so many essential things. We should go back to the question. The fundamental question: how is the universe made up of? And he's coming up with the question of being, existence. That is also existence. In Advaita Vedanta, we understand it as the Chit Ananda. So existence is knowing everywhere. And very beautifully they're trying to explain it because when Maya is working on this world, right? So if someone asks, like, if let's say Brahman is all around, then is Brahman different from the world which we are seeing every day? So Advaita Vedanta says no, Brahman is not different from the world. Just like the way a clay is not different from a pot. So when we see a pot is out of the clay. Can you tell that something else is there in the pot apart from clay? No, you can't. Because out and out it is made up of clay. So of course, pot is nothing other than clay. So of course they're not admitting that the effect is different from the cause. Okay? So this is how they're trying to prove that what you're seeing in this world, all these are not, you are seeing the existent thing, but existent thing are not different from existence. So the world exists, and we're trying to prove that existence is equal to Brahman. Existence is equal to Brahman. So can there be something which is different from, is there anything in the world which is different from existence? No. The answer is simply no. And if you take out existence from the world, then it will be non-existent. Logically, it will be impossible. If you take out existence from the world, then the world will be non-existent. So, existence is everything. So, therefore, they are proving that and is Brahman. So, Brahman is equated, understood as existence. The highest order. And to realize that, we have different steps, the different ladders that the Brahman is giving us, clarity of mind, the focused mind, knowledge, this and that, and then realizing the universal consciousness. So when Krishnamurti is talking about the state of unconditioned mind, how can we understand it from this concept? That is one question. How can we understand it from the phenomenological perspective, also from the concept of being as such? Because being is also referred to consciousness, but how it is, these two are the main questions which I'm actually currently working on. So, so realizing that state, realizing that absolute state, or realizing that universal state, but that also you have to know that you are actually doing an error. So therefore the concept of superimposition and superimposition comes. So this error and correcting the error. First of all, we have to know that yes, there is an error. There is an error. Instead of that road, we are seeing the snake. I'm seeing it as snake. Somebody else might see it as a garden. Somebody else might see it as something else. So there are so many varieties of interpretations. We are seeing things differently. And the correcting is road. Similarly, first we have to know it, and then we have to correct our misconceptions, assumptions. Okay. So here, so there are different points of difference also between Krishnamurti and Advaita Vedanta. Of course, the transcendence of duality. Here I have noted it down. All points of differences. And these three I have discussed. I actually want you to ask a few questions so that it can be further explained in the process. Because the main question, the main inquiry, which I'm trying to make, I'm actually trying to develop in the form of a paper, in that sense that I'm trying to relate these two aspects. The Krishnamurti's notion of unconditioning of the mind to get the hardcore problem of their Advaita Vedanta, how the universal consciousness can be merged with the individual consciousness can be merged with the universal consciousness from Krishnamurti's standpoint. Because Krishnamurti has not directly written about this. Because he was against any form of institutions. Because, of course, he said that you have to purify your mind through unconditionally. You have to do it yourself. Self-inquiry is absolutely possible. Without self-inquiry, it is not possible. Right? And self-discovery. And for that, we have to go beyond those states of conditions. That is an important aspect, and that lies here. The differences, it is, I will share this slide with you. And I request you to, if you have any comments or so, you can just, so I'm just asking for the questions and comments from this so that things can also be clarified during the process. So this is all.